And so for the itinerary, for the seminar agenda, we're going to talk about what Flex calls the 50-50 rule. Okay? And as we talk about college admission at Flex, we say that it's 50% academics and 50% non-academics. And so I'm going to talk about that here in a moment. And then we're actually going to do a page-by-page review of the private college application. And as we go through that review, I'll explain what colleges are looking for with each part of that application. And then I'll briefly introduce you to Flex for those families who are new. And then we'll do a time of Q&A at the end. So again, if you have any questions, please write them down, and I'll take all the questions at the end. Okay, that'll help the seminar to go a little bit more quickly. The 50-50 rule. So, as I mentioned earlier, at Flex, we say that private college admission is 50% academics and 50% non-academic. Under the academic, we have the GPA and the high school record. We have all of your standardized testing, APs, SAT or ACT, SAT2s, etc. So those things make up the academic part of the application process for private schools, okay? And I do want to be clear, private school admission is very different from UC admission. And so again, at 12 o'clock, we'll be doing a presentation in the main hall on UC admission, and we'll do a Q&A here. But right now, I want to focus very specifically on private schools. Then, private college admission is 50% non-academic. And now, the non-academic part, this is the part that most families have the most trouble with, right? So when we talk about academics, when we talk about grades, everybody knows what a good grade is, right? An A is a good grade. B's, you know, they're not A's, but they're not C's, right? C's and lower, we want to try to avoid as much as possible, okay? When we talk about test scores, when we talk about the SAT, everybody knows what a good score is, right? What's a good score on the SAT? 2,400, right? 2,400 point test, 2,400 is a good score. 2,300 is a fantastic score. Some students, based upon their target college, they're targeting 2,000 or 2,100, right? So when it comes to these academics, everybody knows what's good and what's not good. And so that's easier for us to understand. But when we talk about the non-academic part, this is where most students and most families have trouble. So this is going to be the area that I focus on today. As we talk about the non-academics, we're talking about extracurricular activities. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about community service. Okay? We're talking about the college essay, which is part of the application. We're talking about letters of recommendation from teachers and counselors. We're talking about the admission interview. All of these things are grouped into 50%, which is non-academic. Okay? So, as we talk about the non-academic portion, the question that families want to know, the question that families ask is, what are colleges really looking for? Right? What's a good activity? What should we do this summer? You know, should I keep doing my activity if that means my grade might go down? Or should I quit my activity and focus on my academics? What do colleges want me to do? Right? And so, as we talk about private college admission, there are three key things that colleges are looking for. The first one we call PQs, personal qualities. Personal qualities are the student's character, the student's personality. Okay? The second thing that private colleges are looking for is intellectual vitality, intellectual curiosity, love for learning. Okay, love for learning. And the third thing that private colleges are looking for is they're looking for a point of excellence. Okay? And so these are very general terms that I'm mentioning, and I'm going to go more deeply into each one of them. But generally speaking, all private colleges are looking for these three things. Okay? This is how you can group what colleges are looking for in activities. So, what do all these things mean? Personal qualities. How do you show your character as a person on paper? Right? That's so hard to do. Well, leadership experience. Okay, I heard colleges want students with leadership experience. Is that true? Yes, it's true. Community service. I hear colleges like students who do community service. Is that true? Yes, that's true too. Commitment. I heard that colleges, when you start an activity, they want you to continue it throughout high school. Is that true? Yes, that's true too. Okay? So everybody knows that colleges are looking for these things. Is it true? Yes, it's true. But the thing to understand is, out of 3 key categories, all of those things fit into one category: personal qualities. Okay?
Sorry, is it possible to move that banner?
Sure, I'd be happy to move the banner. Is that a little better? I'm out of space. So, colleges are looking for all of those things, but that only covers one category. So I have families say to me all the time, my daughter, she has good leadership experience, she has a lot of community service experience, and she's very focused and committed to her activities. What else does she need to do? Or is that everything? That is not everything for private schools. Okay? Second category, intellectual vitality, intellectual curiosity, love of learning for the sake of learning. Okay? So, let me be clear about something here. In the private college admission process, we have 50% science and we have 50% art. 50% academic, 50% non-academic. I'm not talking about the academics right now. Intellectual curiosity is not, do I have a high GPA? The academics were already covered in a different part. Okay? So the question that colleges are looking for is, when this student comes to my school, what kind of student will he be? When he's in a class, will he ask a lot of questions? Will he participate in conversation? Will he help other students in the classroom to learn? Right? And so colleges want to see experience learning outside of class. Okay? So, a basic type of example would be summer research internships. Right? Everybody asks me, should I do an internship? Doing an internship can start showing this. That's the beginning. Okay? And so then you can take it further from there. You can begin independent research. You can try to write an article that gets published in a journal. You can go find a mentor who can continue to help you to learn more on your own. This is probably the hardest thing to show on paper, intellectual vitality. Okay? But this is the thing that colleges want to know. Because, everybody says, oh, colleges want to know about my personality, they want to know about my color. Is that true? Sure, that's true. But when you go to college, your first job is to be a student. And so colleges really want to know, what kind of mind does this student have? Does this student want to learn? Or when they move away from their mom's house for the first time, are they going to skip class? Or are they going to play video games or Facebook all night long and not do their homework? What kind of student are you? What kind of mind do you have? That's what the colleges really want to know. And one of the best ways to show that actually is through your essays. Okay? It's through your essays. And so we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. Now, the first 2 points, personal qualities and intellectual vitality, every college wants to, every private or public college wants that, but the private colleges place greater emphasis on these things. Now, when we talk about top 25 private schools, they also want point number 3, and that's a point of excellence. Okay, that's a point of excellence. So many students have leadership experience. So many students get Presidential Gold Award for community service. So many students are committed to their activities. So many students do summer research internships. So when colleges get all of these applications, how do they pick one or the other? Well, the top 25 schools, they're looking for a point of excellence or some kind of experience or achievement that separates one student from the others. Okay? Let me give you an example. A lot of students do speech and debate. And I have families that come and they say, my daughter, she's the captain of her speech and debate team. And she's number 2 in California for her speech and debate event. Is that a good activity? I say, that's a great activity. Number 2 in the state for your event. Okay? But what would Harvard or Stanford say? Well, what kind of speech and debate students apply to Harvard and Stanford? Team USA. Okay? Every year, 5 high school students from America are selected to represent the United States at the World Speech and Debate Championship. And every country has 5 students. And so the top 5 students from every country compete at the World Speech and Debate Championships. Those speech and debate kids apply to Harvard, Stanford, Yale, Columbia, Penn, right? Because they're the best speech and debaters in the world. So, is it excellent? Second in California is definitely excellent. But you always have to compare excellent based upon the other students who are applying to your target college. Okay? Because when your application goes in, and I say, hey, I have a student from Uni High in Irvine, and she's number 2 in California in Lincoln Douglas debate. And somebody else says, hey, why should we take your student? I have a student who's Team USA. Top 5 high school students in America representing the United States at the Worlds. Okay? But when we talk about Loyola Marymount, which is a private college in LA, there aren't internationally ranked students who apply to Loyola Marymount. So if you're captain of your speech and debate team and you're top 10 in California for your event, that can be an excellent point for Loyola Marymount, right? So excellence always has to be calibrated to the level of school that you're targeting. But the top 25s, they really focus on this point of excellence. Okay? So, that's some general information about what colleges are looking for. Now what I'd like to do is, I'd like to take you through the private college application to help you understand how the colleges actually review this information. And so, before I move on to this section, can I actually ask, how many students here, or how many families here have a student who's class of 2013, currently a senior? Okay? What I'm going to tell you right now will have so much value for you in the next 2 or 3 months. Okay? This is information that comes from private college admission officers. Okay? How many families with 10th or 11th graders? Class of 2014, 2015. Okay? Younger, so freshmen or younger. Okay. So the benefit for the younger students, okay, 11th and younger, as you prepare for college, if you understand what is asked for in the application, then it will help you to better prepare, right? Too many families, they never look at the college application until 12th grade. And all of a sudden in 12th grade they say, oh my gosh, I didn't know they were looking for this kind of information. So if you understand what is in the application earlier, then you can make better decisions as you prepare for the application process. And so when students apply for college, private schools, there's basically 3 different types of applications. Okay? The first one is called the common application. The common application, if I'm going to apply to Stanford, USC, Chapman, and Loyola Marymount, or the Ivies, or NYU, or Rice or liberal art colleges, whatever. 90% of the private colleges accept the Common Application, okay? 99.9 of the schools that families here will apply for accept the Common Application. 98% maybe, sorry. And so you fill out the Common Application, you write down all your activities, you fill out 2 essays, and then you check off Stanford, Harvard, USC, Pomona, Chapman, etc. You check off all those schools, and you pay a fee for each school, and then that application goes to all the schools. It's a common application for most private schools. But in addition to the Common Application, each school has something called a supplemental application. So I send my application to Stanford, the Common App. Plus, I must do Stanford supplemental application. My Common Application goes to USC. Plus, I must do the USC supplemental application, etc. And so colleges, but depending on their goals and what they're looking for, they'll ask different questions and more essays in their supplements. So the majority of schools are grouped into the Common Application member schools. Now, there are some schools, private schools, who do not accept the Common Application, and that's the third type of application. And those schools have their own application process. The UCs do not take the Common Application. MIT does not take the Common Application. Georgetown does not take the Common Application. Those are probably the 3 main schools that families here would apply for who do not accept the Common Application, okay? But because most schools do take the Common App, I'm going to focus on that one right now. And the information that I talk about the Common App will generally also apply to the other schools. So right now, I'm going to go page by page through the Common Application. I'm going to talk about what colleges are looking for in each page. And I'm also going to talk about the relationship between the academics and the non-academics, okay? So I mentioned that private college admission is 50% academic and 50% non-academic. And right now I'm going to talk about how those 2 parts are related, okay? Common Application, page 1. Personal information. What's your name? What's your address? Where were you born? Etc. Very, very basic personal information. There's no strategy involved here because you can't change where you were born. I guess you could change your name, but not in time for college, okay? So this is all just personal information. Page 2 of the Common Application, family information. What's your mother's name? What's your father's name? Where did they go to college? What kind of work do they do? Okay? Again, this is just basic information and there's not much strategy involved here. The first 2 pages, you just fill it out and that's it. Page 3 of the Common Application is the academics. Okay? So this is the 50% academic. Here's where you write down, what school do I attend? Here's where you write down, what is my GPA? What is my class rank? My AP scores and my SAT scores, etc. So this is the page where you report all of your academic information. Plus, your high school will send a transcript, and then you send all of your SAT and AP scores from the College Board. And so you send all of this information from, all the other sources as well. But the focus of this page is the academics.